Now, D-U-Z, does, brings you the Goldbergs.
You? Does everybody?
There's Molly, folks. That means your friends, the Goldbergs, are here. Brought to you by Does, the new kind of soap that does everything in your wash. Now, I say the good old days weren't so very good, BD.
BD?
Yes, before Does. Before this new kind of soap arrived to do everything in the wash. You know, Does, D-U-Z, does best. Why, BD, before Does, I've heard some women just couldn't get along without a washboard.
I know I couldn't. My greasy work clothes always needed lots of hard scrubbing. And it was tough work getting my towels white, too. And my colored rayons. They soon lost their sparkle, BD, before Does.
Well, no wonder so many ladies who didn't became ladies who does. This new kind of soap really does everything. It gives you all this. Unsurpassed whiteness for your towels, unbeaten suds for cleaning up work clothes, plus greater safety for the pretty rayons you wash. That's why the good wash days now are AD, after Does.
I'll say, with Does, there's no hard scrubbing. Yet see those work clothes, all fresh and clean.
No soap anywhere gets tough dirt out easier than Does.
And the towels, you just couldn't ask any soap to get them whiter.
Sure, Does gives you the whitest white your wash line's ever seen.
And there's no more fussing over pretty rayons. Does leaves them perky and bright.
Does is extra safe for colors. Yes, ladies, wash days are different, AD, after Does. It's the soap that's best. Actual comparisons with 25 different wash day soaps prove it. Does has the best combination of white washes, suds for cleaning, and safety to colors. So be a lady who does everything. And now Does invite you to visit the Goldbergs. You know, sometimes the further away you get from a problem, the closer you get to its solution. Earlier tonight, just before the nominating meeting for the city council opened, Edward Reynolds was seen on his way there. So was Elizabeth Neal, his ex-fiancée, who was planning to reveal the truth about Reynolds' past at the meeting. But by the time the gathering was called to order, all trace of the two had been lost, and foul play on Mr. Reynolds' part was suspected. Meanwhile, at the Goldberg home, Rosie has just heard from her father, back from Mexico and stranded about 50 miles from home because of a bus breakdown. When Jake turned away from the phone, he ran head-on into Edward Reynolds. Edward Reynolds, 50 miles from home. Rosie, of course, doesn't know this. Listen.
Seymour, stop dreaming. It's your play.
Oh, excuse me. Let's see. It's the third game I lost, Rosie. You know what they say. Unlucky in cards, lucky in love. But I guess there are exceptions to every rule. Huh, Rosie?
Of course there are exceptions to every rule. You play.
Do you want to continue this game, Rosie?
What else would you suggest, Seymour?
Well, to me, playing cards is such a waste of time.
That depends.
On what?
You deal, Seymour.
You'd rather continue to play than talk?
Yes, Seymour, I would. There's nothing to talk about. All we can do now is wait.
At least your father won't be here until tomorrow morning. By that time, your mother will be a full-fledged councilwoman.
I can just about imagine what my father's going to say when he finds out.
Oh, don't disturb yourself, Rosie. I'll take it.
All right, but if it's my mother, I want to talk to her, please, Seymour.
Hello? Yes? It's my sister Bertie.
Oh.
Yes, I hear you. No, he's not here yet. She wants to know if your father's here yet.
He won't be home until tomorrow.
Mr. Goldberg won't be home until tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, the bus broke down and he's staying over tonight. Wait, I'll ask Rosie. What's the name of the town?
I don't know the name of the town, but it's a village about 50 miles from here.
All right. It's a village about 50 miles from here. I don't know the name of the town.
Seymour, is the meeting almost over?
Bertie, how about the meeting?
And was my mother nominated?
Uh-huh.
Huh?
Uh-huh. Yeah, all right. No news from Reynolds yet, huh? Uh-huh. Listen, don't get one of your nervous spells, Bertie. Don't forget you haven't got any more pills. And you lost the prescription, don't forget. So you better control yourself, as we're all trying to do, until we know what happened. Yeah. Just see that Mrs. Goldberg gets the nomination, that's all. Yeah, and then you go home, and I'll come home just as soon as Mrs. Goldberg comes home. Yes. Yes, you go home. Yeah, I'll see you home, yeah. Yeah, all right, goodbye. She thought maybe we heard something.
Oh. Seymour, if you're tired, why don't you go home?
No, I always yawn when I'm nervous, Rosie. I assure you it's not fatigue or boredom.
Don't be polite, Seymour. It's late, and if you're tired, don't be ashamed to admit it.
How could I be tired? I'm much too stimulated by all the excitement of this night and everything that's happened in the last few hours to be tired. You know that, Rosie.
Well, you look tired.
What I look like is something I can't control.
Would you like me to fix you some black coffee?
No, I prefer some warm milk.
Cocoa?
No milk, but I could fix it.
That's all right.
Let me help you.
Don't bother, Seymour.
You don't mind if I go into the kitchen with you?
Why should I mind, Seymour?
I know you're upset. I don't want to do anything to irritate you.
Seymour, if you just wouldn't be so...
So what, Rosie?
Don't try so hard to please me, Seymour.
Is that wrong?
No, but you...
Do you regard a person as highly as I regard you? You want to please her? Or him?
But, Seymour, you...
I couldn't treat you any other way. You bring out the best of me, Rosie.
Are you sure you don't want cocoa, Seymour?
It won't be too much trouble with everything that's on your mind?
No.
I won't be in your way if I sit here, will I?
No.
Do you ever think of life in general, Rosie?
What do you mean?
I mean about the complexities of life.
It's not life. It's human nature that has all the complexities.
Yeah, I was going to say human nature, but I'm trying to keep your mind off Mr. Reynolds and Elizabeth Neal. What happens to people, Rosie? What cruel monster creeps into their souls that makes men less than they are?
I don't know.
Is it money that's the root of all evil?
If you're talking about Elizabeth Neal and Mr. Reynolds, how could money have anything to do with it?
I don't know.
Mr. Reynolds is an old man in love with a young girl. And Elizabeth Neal is a constant reminder...
Of his worthlessness?
Of his age, of his cruelty, of his life that he wants to push away. And he's desperate. That's why I'm afraid to think of what might have happened tonight.
If what you think has happened, I mean...
Don't say it, Seymour.
No, I'm not, Rosie. I was just going to say, let's assume that the worst has happened, and Elizabeth Neal is no more. At least Teresa Fernandez will be saved from a life with a man like Mr. Reynolds.
People don't always know what's good for them, though.
You mean Teresa?
Uh-huh.
Well, if Mr. Reynolds is thrown in jail or given a capital punishment...
Stop exaggerating, Seymour.
But you're the one who just said you're afraid of what's happened tonight.
Well, that doesn't give you the privilege of throwing Mr. Reynolds in jail. After all, Seymour, nobody really knows.
Well, all I was doing was figuring the possibilities. Either Mr. Reynolds did away with Elizabeth Neal or he didn't. If he didn't, then there's a lot of people in this town who get excited too easily. And if he did, then he'll get caught and put in jail or maybe worse. Can you see any other possibility besides these two?
Seymour, sometimes you're too logical.
To me, Rosie, 2 and 2 are always 4 and never 5.
Things are not always black and white, Seymour.
Well?
Well, what?
What other possibilities do you see?
Don't make an issue of it, Seymour.
Me? You're the one who...
All I said was that Teresa may not know how much better off she'd be without Mr. Reynolds.
Well, if he's put in jail or worse, she'll know. And after all, with Mr. Reynolds...
Get the sugar, Seymour, huh?
Okay, spoons?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll take it.
Don't bother, Seymour. You just pick up the pieces.
I'm sorry.
Hello?
Rosalie?
Hello, yes, Pa. Can't you find a place to stay overnight?
I'm not staying overnight. Somebody's lifting me home in their car.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Where's Mama? She's home yet?
No, she isn't.
Staying out beyond all propriety.
Yes.
Well, I'll be home soon.
All right, Pa.
feeling all right?
Yes, Pa.
Who is it, your father?
Uh-huh.
Hello?
Hello?
Who are you talking to?
Seymour.
Seymour is there.
Yeah.
Let me say hello to him.
All right, just a minute, Pa. Here, Seymour, my father wants to talk to you, but be careful.
What do you mean?
If he asks you where my mother is,
Rosie,
don't...
what must I do to convince you that I'm not a fool?
Hello?
Here, Seymour.
Thanks. Hello, Mr. Goldberg.
How are you, Seymour?
I'm very well.
How things in town?
Well, a few
Pray for
things that...
instance?
Well, I don't want to detain you now.
I have time. Mr. Reynolds went to fill up his tank.
Mr. Who?
Reynolds?
Reynolds?
What, Mr. Reynolds?
Mr. Ed Reynolds?
Why? Millionaires and paupers rub elbows together on this stage. This is now the new world, Seymour.
Yeah, but...
Hello?
What is it, Seymour?
Hello?
Seymour, what about Mr. Reynolds?
Hello?
Mr. Goldberg, would you mind holding the wire a minute? Rosie,
Yes?
your father's driving home with Mr. Reynolds.
Huh? Is Elizabeth Neal with it?
Hello? Mr. Goldberg? Is Elizabeth Neal with him?
Elizabeth Neal?
Yes.
Yes?
No, he's alone.
Well...
No.
Why?
Nothing.
Why should Elizabeth Neal be with him?
Well, I was merely putting a question, Mr. Goldberg, that's all.
What is going on there?
Nothing, Mr. Goldberg, nothing. Only Mr. Reynolds was expecting to be at the town meeting, and everybody's waiting for him.
Why are they waiting?
There's an important meeting in town, and he's running for councilman against Mrs. Goldberg.
What did you say, my
I
dear?
knew you did something like that.
Rosie, you better take
Give
it.
me that,
Seymour,
Mr.
have
Goldberg.
a
Listen,
telephone?
listen, you have to
Is that
say
where
anything
Mrs.
about
Goldberg
it.
is? Is that why she didn't come?
Mrs. A is having a terrible time.
Honestly, I just don't know what I'm going to do. I never seem to have enough red points anymore.
While her neighbor, Mrs. B, says,
It takes a little figuring, all right, but we get along. And have things ever been a lot easier since I started saving my used kitchen fats? You'll be surprised at how many extra red points I get that way.
yes, when you really work at saving used kitchen fat, those precious red points can add up fast. Cut the extra fat off meat and melt it down. Skim the fat off soups and stews. Scrape your frying and roasting pans clean, and you'll be taking a full can of used fat to your meat dealer almost every week. And that'll mean quite a few extra red points for you. Used fats contain vital ingredients for healing medicine, ammunition, and other vital war materials. Save every drop of used kitchen fat and rush it to your meat dealer. He'll give you 4 cents and 2 red points for every pound you turn in. Well, Jake's excitement at learning about his wife's pending nomination for councilwoman may make him unaware of the note of fear in Rosie's voice at the mention of Mr. Reynolds' name. If Jake fails to learn a little more about Mr. Reynolds' activities this evening, enough at least to be on guard, then Jake's ride home with his wife's opponent may turn out differently than he anticipates. Be sure to listen to the next episode of The Goldbergs, written for you by Gertrude Berg. This is Clayton Collier saying good day for the makers of Does, the soap that does everything in your wash. At the dishpan, fight waste. Don't waste soap when you do your dishes. Soap contains materials needed to fight the enemy.